Season 3 is meant to be. And yes, Christian, we're not going to fact check this one from last time.
Yeah, because Jerry got mistaked the last time. He was like, we're season 2. I'm like, it's season 3, damn it.
It's season 23 because of our longevity, Christian. And that is for one guest of many good reasons. He is a digital marketing influencer, and his name is David Grace.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Grace Metropolitan. Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Yes, oh boy.
A lot of stories
There
there.
we go.
So how has that been going for you? How have you been pivoting during COVID and everything like that?
Well, I mean, so just to give, I guess, a little bit of a autobiography, I'm a digital marketing expert. I'm a web developer. I'm a filmmaker, wannabe. I'm a writer when I want to be. But all the things that exist in the digital marketing world. And I guess I hit a point where I'm in my early 20s. I made it as a director at a very strong, very big company. And I realized there's very little for me to go up. There's very, very little growth room in this company. But I want to do my own thing. Because I'm young enough now, I could still make the plunge to do it now. And if it fails, then I've still got 5+ years to dig myself out of whatever holes I get into. So I decided to up and move to North Carolina. I have family down there. I've spent some time down there in my youth, and that was the place I was able to move to start. Very affordable place to live. The place I was living is a swamp compared to the cities. But I have not been there in some time, and it turns out the parts that I have family and the ones that I had visited is nothing compared to the place I was moving to. The one thing that I always took away was, when you're going to college and you're in high school, what do they always say? Go visit the college before you decide to take the plunge and move there,
Yeah.
right? Remember
Right,
that?
of
Remember that
course.
years ago when they told us that? I didn't do that. And I packed up, I had a move date, I set the move date, and then I took maybe 4 or 5 months putting money away to prepare to do this. And it was just, make sure we hit that, July 12th. July 12th was my move date. And from January to that, to July 12th of 2019, that was all we worked on.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for that point. Took the plunge, went down. By August 1st, I started my own marketing company. And I was in for a roller coaster of emotions and amazing experiences of creativity and problem solving, because I was born, raised in Staten Island, New York, and I decided to move down to a state in the South that has a very different mindset, that has a very different state of mind. They act differently, they think differently, they have less, their priorities are so drastically different from the people that I am, right, that we are.
So do you feel like it's slower compared to New York, or just different? Is it kind of more apples and oranges in that case?
The general, I guess I would say New York consensus is that, we're the fastest moving place, right?
Yeah.
The city is, a New York minute is 7 seconds, right? And that down there, everything is slowed down. I don't know if I could say that they're slow. It's not a matter of speed. It's a matter of priority.
Right.
And that's it. And their priorities are not close to ours at all. Not close to New Yorkers at all. And that's not a bad thing. That's just that they put family first. They put their hobbies first. They put their immediate lives are number one. Their immediate lives, their family, their friends, and themselves are number one. And then so everything else, business-wise, work-wise, will always be number 2.
When you were down there, so I'm curious about this, when you've done your marketing campaigns,
Yeah.
what's kind of been your favorite sub-demographic in a family to market to?
That was so it really depends on what we're doing. So I've worked with gyms. I worked on a couple of elections last November, which was an amazing experience altogether, because I've worked on elections here in Staten Island. I've worked on New York City elections, and the way that we get in front of people, going door to door, knocking on everything, signing petitions, and it is so fast paced and almost ruthless, because the candidates will be attacking, badgering each other constantly.
Yeah, we're seeing that
Down
now.
there, it is on such a personal level, that level of badgering and attacking, we're to the point where people are going after people's families, right? It is so much, it is insanely different. We do the same thing here, yes, but it is much more about, I'll say, policy here, and that person's values. the things I was seeing down south were attacking people's livelihoods. Like,
Do you think it's more of like a he said, she said type of thing, and it comes more like community oriented in those neighborhoods? It's like, oh, this guy on the block, he's saying this. Like, does it come from that mindset?
So here's the thing, like, we're in New York City, right? So lots of people here.
Yeah.
And even though we're on an island, there's a lot of space in between that island.
Right.
A lot of different mindsets, people of all walks of life. When you're down there, it's not only bigger, but there's significantly less people. So, and like, that changes the way that you think about things. So we've got, much bigger land. It takes 30 minutes to get anywhere down there. It takes 30 minutes to get anywhere here, but it's because there's so many people here you have to get through. There's a lot of traffic.
Difference
Down
is
there,
30 minutes down there is 30 minutes down there.
Exactly.
Whereas
Like
30 minutes up here to go from here to around the corner is 30 minutes.
or it could be 15 if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
Or it could be 45 if it's backed up.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
down there...
Going to the Staten Island Ferry.
Exactly. So what I'm really trying to say is that their mindset's different, and everybody's their neighbor. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody's got a relationship with everybody. So when you're talking about something like an election, okay, everybody knows who that person is, and they know their dirty laundry, and they know the skeletons that are in their closets. When you have somebody, just as an example, we've got Max Rose and Nicole Malliotakis are running each other against each other now. It's very hard for us to determine, what are the skeletons that they would have in their closets. Not to say that they have any, but just as an example, we're in a city. Down there, everybody knows who, I'll just say a name like Dennis Lewis is.
Yeah.
Because Dennis Lewis has been living there for 40 years, and everybody sees him at the grocery store. So you can't hide anything. He's grown up there, right? So it is a very brutal race, and there's a lot of lines drawn. But they need to get over it real quick because they're going to see each other at the grocery store in a couple weeks.
I got an off-topic question for you in regards to that South versus North on this.
Okay.
So compare grocery shopping in the South in comparison to like the East Coast of New York.
Well, I have a caveat to throw in there. Are we talking regular world or COVID world?
Let's do regular world first.
Okay. It's not unlike here. The grocery store is not unlike here. I'll say the prices are a lot better down there.
Oh yeah.
The quality, the standard of living down there is a lot nicer, but at a cost of, you're paying less to live there, but you're also surrounded by people that maybe you wouldn't want to have lived around
Right.
in a normal instance, right? Like so I think the one thing here that I take away here, it is so multicultural in amazing positive ways that your neighbor could be an immigrant, or your neighbor could be from the South, from California, from anywhere in the world, and you're constantly being hit with this multiculturalism in so many positive and diverse ways. You're learning all these different people's walks of life. But when you're in a much smaller neighborhoods, everybody's the same, and they're all of the same mindset, the same way of thinking. So you get a lot of that. But back to grocery store shopping, it is so you're paying much less. But it's all Walmarts, right? So it's all Walmarts, the same thing that it would be, I guess, here in places like New Jersey. But it's I would say their barbecue significantly different than here. Okay, that's the biggest thing. They got me off guard. Okay, I was in Raleigh, and we went to, I think it was called, I believe it was called The Pit that we went to. I could be wrong about that, but everybody was saying, oh, it's the best place in Raleigh. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get the pulled pork. That sounds good, right?
Yeah,
awesome.
pulled pork's
Awesome. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm eating, and I'm like, what is this vinegar flavor?
Yeah, it's
I'm
very,
like, whoa!
It's very vinegar. Yeah, like there's the dry rub, and then there's like wet-based barbecue. So I don't know how it was down there.
This knocked me on my butt because I was not prepared for this. Okay, I am used to the
Sweet.
Texas, the Big Ed's barbecue where it's like slathered on and I
smothered and covered.
yeah, like
That's a hashtag.
thick barbecue sauce, and I'm like, ooh. Oh, it's a vinegar base, huh? Yeah, no, I'm not about that.
Yeah,
I'm not about that. Not very good. I mean, it's great, but it's not the same. It's not barbecue to me. Quote,
Now you
unquote.
could fast forward into COVID.
Yeah.
Now, so fasting forward into COVID, it was really amazing. In a lot of ways, and I mean amazing in that even I was under the mindset of, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. And we believed it, right? I'll never forget March. Now, interestingly enough, we had just booked through my company and some of the partners that I was working with down there, we just booked a 20,000 person event that was going to happen in June. Okay, this was amazing. We were going to have this wine and beer festival where people from all over North Carolina were going to be traveling to. It was going to be big. We were going to have people speaking. All kinds of vendors were booked to come here, and then and then boom, COVID happens, right? We're sitting around, and my partner's like, I think we need to start getting ready to gear up and announce that it's canceled. I said, well, why would we do that? This ain't a big deal. It's gonna be here and gone. It's like the flu. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden, about 5 days later, Tom Hanks comes down with coronavirus. And now, in a place where everybody was saying, we were all naysayers, every person was saying, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna come to my backyard. And then within minutes, Walmart was destroyed. I will never forget it. Walmart was torn apart. Now, I know it was bad here. But we were jam-packed. It was beautiful. Everybody was shopping normally. Tom Hanks gets it.
Toilet paper!
The NBA shuts down. All the sports get shut down. And those were all like back-to-back within 12 hours of each other.
Yeah.
And then boom. Like just like that. Walmart destroyed.
The mindset.
Shopping stores are all gone. Everything is shut down. Governor Cooper just immediately, boom, everything goes down, right? But for the longest time, we weren't wearing masks.
Right.
No masks. Nothing. I remember I didn't even have a mask yet because you couldn't get them. Immediately, they were all sold out everywhere.
I didn't even know where to find one when this all first came about.
I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that. So what I was doing was I'll never forget. So I was raised in the Boy Scouts, right? So I knew immediately if I'm thinking everything is getting shut down, I need to restock on survival gear. You know, propane, gas lights, all that kind of stuff. Sleeping bags. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Iodine pills.
Yeah, but like literally all that survival gear that we don't have, and I literally put in a little bunker in the house that I was living in because in North Carolina, everything is electric. And we had already been having electric problems. What happens if the electric gets shut down because of coronavirus?
Rolling blackouts.
We don't know. We had no idea. We were already having some super severe hot summers. So like everything was electric power. What happens if coronavirus shuts down the electric plants? We did not know.
So in those stores where you were shopping at, who was like the MVP Karen of that whole vicinity?
Oh my gosh.
Who do you think would deserve the trophy? From everyone that you've seen shopping in those areas.
I mean, there was definitely a lot of Karens, and it wasn't until maybe May, where maybe April, towards the end of April, where the stores started to pick up. The WalMarts and the Stop and Shops, the big brands started saying, maybe we need to like close everything down and like put lines up where people have to like go through the line. Maybe we need to have people standing there sanitizing
so you need
everything.
the Whole Foods. That's what you need.
And what got me really bad was I'm trying to go in through one door because I'm trying to avoid people, and it turns out,
that's the exit.
That's now the exit, and the amount of lip I got from the person working there, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, you have no signs up. Like y'all need to get on this. But people were fighting, arguing with they would have all the kids out. And it was such a shame to see because now I'm wearing a mask, and it took me. I remember I was a naysayer. It took me a while to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So not only was I jeopardizing myself, but I think I was putting other people at risk as well. We all were because none of us believed it.
That's what the hurt is.
Yeah, we believed it.
Any fist fights?
Were there any? While I never saw any, there was.
Oh, okay.
There was in Raleigh. Eventually, towards the end of May, I believe there was a mega protest because Governor Cooper shut everything down. All in-person businesses were shut down. Now, me, personally, I had just gotten an office.
Right.
You and me were FaceTiming almost like every day working because and I'm like, what are you doing in the office? You're like, I gotta work. And I'm like, yeah, but...
Well, thankfully, my office was just, we were the only one on that floor. And the other person never showed on the floor below us. So it was great. But we had just gotten an office and in Raleigh. I lived 30 minutes from Raleigh, so it took me a while to get there. But going through that, this was people's livelihoods that were being put at risk here on something we didn't believe in.
Yeah.
And I know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it's not about believing in it, but it's a different place down there.
Right.
It's a completely different state of mind where a lot of people, they don't make the income that New York City makes. So a lot of people here, even, and the one thing I really notice now, having come back, is there's a lot of new cars in New York City. A lot of new cars in New York City. And by new, I could say anywhere from 2015 up, even below that, 2013 and up. I would still consider new, having been down in the South. Down South, they will drive anything. And that's not to say anything bad, but that's just the income level there is drastically different than it is here. And
Four wheels, drive it.
if can it get me from point A to B? I'll drive it.
Tricycle, drive it.
Tractor.
But here, now I remember, growing up, we would hear, people would be pleading poverty all the time. But then you see the cars they're driving, and it ain't too bad.
Mercedes.
All right, it ain't too bad. You're driving a 2016 Mercedes in 2017. All right, calm down.
Mercedes.
Kind of to go back into marketing because I'm curious. Because
Yes.
as you see, like with grocery stuff, everybody's like on like the outcry as far as demand and everything.
Yeah.
When you were first going through COVID, what was one industry that you've done marketing for that you feel like has kind of enhanced since the pandemic?
Enhanced is
or like increased as far as productivity or sense of like work.
well, I'll tell you the biggest thing. I don't know if I can give you an exact industry because I literally everything is still changing.
Yeah,
it hasn't settled. Like the way that companies have to market themselves now is not the same as it was, and that's evident. But it's never going to be the same again. And the dust still has not settled on how this is how we're going to do things. So every industry is still shook up.
Right.
Okay. The first thing we realized, I was working with a gym at the time, and Christian knows this because he did work on this project. We working very closely with a gym that doubles as an athletic center. So they have big fields where they bring in sports teams, college teams. They had pro baseball players practicing here that live in the state. I got to shake the hands with a lot of MLB players. Now, the normal person would be like blown away that they're shaking hands with MLB players. I have no idea who they are. I'm not a sports guy. So I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. This is like a Comic-Con, but for sports guys.
Right.
Like, it's kind of neat.
Oh, how are you? Hey.
So what we learned immediately, doors are being shut. That means they're not going to be able to take any income in from their normal operations. What do we have to do? Migrate everything online. Okay, everybody's sitting at home. They're going to be on their phones. But that's what they're going to be doing for the next however long. And we had to figure out new alternative ways to bring a gym where there's equipment, where there's facilities, there's accommodations, and get it online as fast as possible. Get something online as fast as possible to be able to keep drawing in that income because, or unfortunately, a lot of places are going to close.
Right.
And a lot of places did. So we're driving through town, and then all these, closed for sale sign on buildings in towns down there that were already not doing so great.
Are they still closed in that area? Like are there any gyms that have reopened at all? Or
so the gyms, we had to adapt. And what he ended up doing was putting his equipment outside, and it was very small groups were coming in. And it was more of they're willing to do it. We are outside. It's very spacious. They're not even close to each other. They had to adapt. But are they open now? I believe they are.
Yeah.
Okay. When I had left before the summer really kicked off, there was still a lot of restrictions. And from what I believe, I'm under the impression that a lot of things began to close up again when cases went up.
Right.
When cases went up. The thing was the virus really hit hard in a lot of places, but the reaction that we received over time is that, just because cases are confirmed doesn't mean people are ill.
Yeah.
Right? And we get that across the board.
Exactly.
So a lot of, this is something that we see the president saying a lot now, and a lot of people in government have been saying is, cases are going up, but that doesn't mean that people are ill. Right?
Yeah.
They could have had it, and now they're just coming, they never got sick from it, which a lot of people have. They've just got the antibodies. I'm no scientist. I'm a marketing guy. But what I can say is that...
You're a scientist in marketing.
Yeah, I'm a marketing scientist. But, they did shut down again in a lot of places, a lot of industries, and that drastically destroyed a lot of families. That really did impact a lot of families. The biggest thing, and even I'm feeling this myself, is a lot of people don't prepare for the worst. They don't have a savings fund. They don't have, that rainy day fund that should some emergency come up, you're prepared to handle it. And a lot of people down there live paycheck to paycheck, and they will work their butt off to make sure that they make that ends meet. But unfortunately, they're not. Some people are just not good at budgeting, right? Some of us are just not good at budgeting, And it definitely took a toll on a lot of places.
What's kind of been like your biggest challenge, like managing a campaign and when you feel like you do have a budget like planned out, it's ever changing. Like you just have to keep adapting in the process. You're kind of like, when is this ever gonna end? I feel like I have everything prepared, but no.
So I guess the best story I could give is I work with a Comic-Con. Now this is another project that Chris and I worked on. This is a really big, amazing story. So I was working with a Comic-Con down there. It's a local one, but they still bring in 10,000 people for a local Comic-Con. People travel to. We would have guests from California flying in for this. Very exciting stuff. And we were geared up to have it. Our spring show was supposed to be in April. Okay, spring show was supposed to be April. 10,000 people were supposed to attend. Early on, eventually it got, and I'm still saying, we're getting, April 1st rolls around. I'm like, yeah, April 27th, this thing will be blown away. Yeah, we're going to have our event. No problem. So we're marketing it like it's going to happen. Okay.
Right.
Obviously it didn't. And it got canceled about a week later. Okay. And what we do? We pivot. Okay. The owners decided, well, the coronavirus may subside. We may get everything under control. The government's saying they're getting everything under control. Cuomo says everything's going to be good. Let's move it to June. Okay, fine. Let's start marketing for June. Now I'm starting to realize something's going on here. This ain't looking too good. And so I proposed to them. I put this whole pitch together, built an entire business plan around, why don't we do a live event? Everything needs to be moving online. Okay, I've worked with other businesses here. We started finding ways for them to make money online. It seems to be doing well. Only time will tell, but why can't we have an online event we sell tickets to? Other conventions, the bigger ones, New York Comic Con are doing it. We have the means here and we have the manpower to do it ourselves. Okay, and all we have to do is have those guests Zoom call in, answer some questions from the public, and we have a great show. We put the show on, we just do it digitally. I went and I got a location, where a venue where we put up the whole set. We broadcasted the whole thing. I acted as a switcher. I acted as director. I even got on stage at one point to as a inner transition to talking about some things. We ran a TikTok campaign where people were sending in their cosplays to win a TikTok trophy. We got amazing results.
That's a cool idea.
And the thing was, the account was brand new. We had just started it in the height of everything of, why don't we get on TikTok? We can start on TikTok. We got 250 submissions in the first 2 weeks. It was outstanding. A lot of people got into it because they wanted that award. And we put on an amazing show. It was incredibly stressful. It was the first broadcast show I had ever run in my life. And we were put into a situation, this was a make it or break it. This was a make it or break it. You have to adapt and overcome or you're going to fail. And man, we had tons of tremendous failures, but it was just a matter of unplug it and plug it back in and let's get back on. We're gonna make this happen. And we did. And it was amazing. And we had people calling in. We had Veronica Taylor, who you'll know as Ash Ketchum from the Pokemon. Yeah. We had Yu-Gi-Oh! Actors. We had wrestlers. We had Power Rangers. We had about 5 Power Rangers phone in throughout the course of the show, both the day before and after.
Got to fight the monsters at that point.
It was really neat. We had a Power Rangers reunion, and we had moderators coming in, and local I'll say local celebrities were coming in and doing this, and we ran a cosplay show, and it was amazing for both the fans, for the owners of that convention, because we got to see, oh my gosh, this is possible, but more so for my takeaway was, there's a lot of power on online, on digital, on going digital. And I know there's a lot of pseudo entrepreneurs who explain, you got to be on Facebook, you got to be on TikTok, you got to be on LinkedIn, right? But the amount of power that you have when you connect with your audience on their level is outstanding.
What's one type of app that this is kind of like a social media snob question. Okay. What's one thing that you've really been into in the last few months that you feel like more people should give credit to?
TikTok. I don't even have to think about it. TikTok's where it's at. TikTok's where it's at. Big time. Because, we've got a lot of moving pieces here. One, we had coronavirus. So that means everybody's online. Users are all online, right? Okay. Then we get into, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram, statistically, the amount of organic reach you're able to achieve on Facebook and Instagram is declining. Now, what does that mean to somebody who has no idea what I just said? That means when I put up a post on Facebook, less people are likely to see it. They are naturally suppressing organic reach for content, meaning they want you to pay for ads. There's nothing wrong with that. Same thing with television. You're paying for that ad space. So you know people are going to be online all these different hours of the day. You know what they're interested in. Hey, Facebook wants you to pay for that spot to be able to be seen and make money. Fine business practice. Then we've got LinkedIn. LinkedIn, which is almost exclusively for business. Jerry, I'm sure you're familiar with LinkedIn.
Oh, yes.
How many followers do you have, Jerry?
Almost 8,000 now.
Yeah. So Jerry's very familiar with LinkedIn. The problem with LinkedIn is you got somebody like me. I use the example I just said. We got a Comic-Con, right? You're not going to be able to make a lot of money doing a Comic-Con on LinkedIn.
Right.
It's not for that audience. So we're looking for something a little bit more general, right? For a gym, maybe you're a gym owner. I almost want to say there's unless you're looking for a specific need, LinkedIn's probably not the place, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
It's not the place for you.
Exactly.
So you need to find a place where you're able to reach your audience broadly for cheap. TikTok is where it's at. The amount of people that you can reach within minutes on TikTok, I've never seen before. If I shoot a video right here, right now, and give a little bit of education on something, I explain, hey guys, here are the top 5 hashtags you need to use, or here's your hashtag strategy of October or November. Post it. Within 1 hour, it'll reach 1,000 people.
Interesting.
And that means 1,000 people watched it. And of that, if I can get a 5% conversion rate to go and click on my link.
We're going to get fucking nerdy now.
Well, yeah. If I can get a 5% conversion rate on that video that reached 1,000 people, we're making bank.
Mark Cuban's cash
going down the rabbit hole
right now.
But
going down the rabbit hole of conversions.
It goes even past that, because we're take the sales conversions out of it. If I get 50 people to click on my link, go to my website, and watch a video that I've put up, read a blog post that I've created, you sign up for my newsletter, sign up to be part of my social media network, that person's going to be more likely to trust me, and later down the road, they're going to want to buy from me. So if I put out a product and I've built up that relationship with somebody, they're more likely to continue trusting me, because I'm telling the truth, I'm providing value, and then they're going to want to buy something from me down the line should I put out more value that has a price tag on it, right? So my biggest thing right now is to put everything out for free. And I've specifically created a niche. That's another thing. You got to focus on your niche. So if you're a gym guy, you got to be focusing on health. You got to be focusing on diet. You got to be focusing on exercise routines. The best way to stay in shape. Country donuts. And nutrition. Right. So I just gave you all those things. But maybe you're somebody that's involved in entertainment. Right. So there's a lot of entertainment people that listen to this podcast. Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the entertainment niche. So what I want to hear from you,
yeah,
but like what I would want to hear from those people is who are your top 5 directors and why, and explain the kind of impact you've had from Francis Ford Coppola, right, and The Godfather, and that the kind of story that watching The Godfather has propelled me into becoming blank, okay, or watching Star Wars has propelled me into becoming blank, and for you to put that out there on things like TikTok, on things like Instagram and Facebook, you're going to be attracting people who are going to care about your opinion. So when people care about your opinion, they're going to want to keep in touch with you.
Right.
And that's actually the key of marketing right there.
Out of everything that you've been working on recently, like, what's the first thing you want to promote right now? Like, what's the first thing that comes to you that you're very excited about?
So we basically learned a lot coming from after coronavirus. We learned a lot about online. We learned, that broadcasting is essential for a lot of businesses. We learned that, taking your product to the market wherever your audience is important. And the biggest takeaway, based on what I just explained about Facebook, is that reaching people is becoming complicated and it's becoming expensive. So myself and my partners, we've all kind of come together. Christian knows about this project very, very much. And we're building a social network. We're building niche social networks for each industry. Okay, this is a new thing. We haven't really given it a title other than niche social network, but myself and my partners have spent the last 2 months or so learning how all of these things work, making them, breaking them, and we're in the process right now of developing a social media platform that's going to be available on phones, computers, wherever you have internet, and you're going to be able to connect with other creators in that space. other people that are interested in that space, other people that want to learn from you in that spot. And once you do that, and there is no suppression algorithm, there is no gatekeeping, you open the door for amazing possibilities where I want to see people connect that never would have connected before. And be able to make something great.
I never thought I'd be friends with Christian for anything.
Yeah, right?
So if, the best thing I would say to do is if you want to be a part of that experience is to go to tcmg.io. That is our website right now where you can just sign up to be a part of it. As we continue to build it, we're hoping to really get something online publicly that the public can break and really alpha test around Christmas. That's our deadline for a
That's your gift to society.
Pretty much, yeah. That is our gift. Is we're building out these niche communities that is going to be able to connect people across the board. I'll give you a quick story about that.
You got it.
On TikTok, I've created a whole bunch of different accounts where I'm providing value on all these things that I'm knowledgeable with, and one of them happens to be Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, yep. One of them happens to be my nerd books that I love to read and storytelling and all this stuff and coming up with characters, writing and all that jazz, right? And I've created a place where people are interested to hear my opinions on these things, to the point where people have reached out to me to come on their show.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And create a kind of a network show with all these other people, with all these other content creators, right? So in that spirit, I never would have met these guys from Chicago and Georgia and Ireland. I've got a gentleman who contacts me from Ireland to get my input on certain things because he knows I'm a pro in this. And these are things I never would have had that experience had it not been for things like TikTok. And I'm trying to replicate that kind of experience of connecting with people you never ever would have met before in your life on a dedicated network that is designed just for that.
That's something that speaks to itself right there. That's incredible stuff.
That's the dream.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what Facebook used to do, but Facebook does not do that anymore.
I got you.
And I'm sure that everybody, both you guys and our listeners, can probably agree, Facebook's become a lot of toxicness. There's a lot of toxicity in social media. Not even just Facebook, just in general. Social media, there's a lot of toxicity.
Have you taken a Facebook break at all, throughout the pandemic? Because I know a lot of people in my group of friends who are like, yeah, I'm gonna get off it for a month. I'm gonna get off it for 2 months. Then they only stay off for a week and come right back. You ever have that epiphany or whatever?
I've got two answers to that. Number one is I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to. For the last, I'll say 4 years, 4 years now, I have wanted to just give up and just pause my social media accounts because I don't want to spend that time that I spend scrolling, consuming toxic nonsense. I hate it, and I'm sure everybody else that's listening does too. There's a lot of negative stuff on there. Yes, I love cousin, Joe Schmo. I love cousin Joe Schmo. I don't need to know your political opinions every 5 minutes. I don't care. Yes, Joe Schmo, your baby's adorable. I don't need to see it every 10 minutes, all right? I'll see you when I see you. We're distant cousins, right?
Do you have any other words for Joe Schmo?
No.
Joe Schmo, man.
Joe Schmo's terrible, man.
I think he said he was voting third party. Like, come on. Kanye's not going to win. Right?
I looked up what his party was. He's the birthday party. Kanye.
Oh, there we go.
That's it.
Didn't Andrew WK have a political party?
I don't
It was done a decade ago.
But so the website that you're working on. Can we talk about that or?
We can definitely talk about it.
The Knights of Light or.
So
Knights still in
beta. Well, we're getting ready. I guess we're moving into alpha now for Knights of Light. So, in the same instance of what I guess I was saying about the TCMG, the Creators Marketing Group.io. So we're building one specifically for business professionals.
Yeah.
But then on the same place, we're also building out a social network a niche social network for that Dungeons and Dragons community I mentioned. And we've already seen amazing returns with that. And not financial returns. I'm never the guy to say, we need to turn a profit immediately. I'm all about playing the long game, about doing something important for other people first, right? So we're able to put a network together where we're going to be bringing creators on who are just advocates for stuff they believe in, right? Advocates for stuff they believe in. In this instance, it's D&D, and it's storytelling, and it's original character concepts. And we're already getting, like, we haven't even gone public with it, and we've got, and by public I mean we haven't announced it and started running our own.
Traction now.
Yeah, it's
like
just
within your peers and groups.
The thing is live. Like, it's live. Anybody can go to knightsoflight.io right now and find it live. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, it's completed.
Yeah.
And play with it. It's there. It's open. And we're inviting people to come on and play with it like a sandbox.
You could also find the Collective Podcast on that website.
Collective Podcast, yes,
cheap plug.
is featured on Knights of Light, and we're happy to have the Collective Podcast there with the Knights of Light podcast, which is something that I do with other creators.
Now that's a deal we did without Shark Tank. And thank you.
Well, I'm going to be producing content on there soon with my friend. I don't want to talk about it yet. You know about it, David.
Oh yes.
We're shooting soon that thing. Don't want to announce it yet because I'm the type of guy that doesn't want to announce something
until it's really almost done.
Until it's ready.
See, that's I know how that feels. There's a lot of hesitation whenever I tell people, I'm working on this project, but I'm happy to say we're in the final stages of KOL.
You have a physical.
Yeah, we have a physical thing.
It's done. It's not like you're sitting there, you're going, we're gonna start on it next week, and then maybe it'll be done, and then maybe we gotta collect the money for it, and maybe it'll we're announcing this film. Here's the trailer. Is this, and then not really, do anything with it.
I feel like there's a story. That was a very specific thing you mentioned there.
Ooh.
I'm not mentioning anybody specific. But
I didn't say anybody either. Oh, that was specific too.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I like having something physical, ready.
Tangible.
I don't want to say tangible, but it's like you have it and it's ready to go, but it's not finished. But it's like you have like an announced date. It's like next Friday it's going to happen, and then
meeting that deadline and trying not to pull all of my hair out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean that kind of happened yesterday, but
Oh yes. Well, actually, I guess we could talk about that. So yesterday was the more or less premiere of a show that I'm working on through the KOL network. And again, these are all people that I met through TikTok. I never would have met in my life had it not been for this
That's incredible
platform. And then within a matter of weeks, I meet these people. Some of them invite me to do one thing. As just so happens I'm working on this big networking project. And I said, why don't we turn this into a show? We're already doing the show part of it. We're already doing a panel. Why don't we put a little bit of elbow grease into it and make something really special?
Yeah.
No one else is doing it. And so we did. And yesterday was our...
we had the pilot yesterday.
Yesterday was our pilot. And
really
there's a lot of things that are... Yeah, well, thank you for that. And there's a lot of things that are going into, I would guess, the extended cut or like the final cut of it. It was... Yeah, there was a premiere, but as I'm sitting there, I'm watching and taking notes. And I'm like, yeah, this is great and all, but we're definitely going to be changing that. We're definitely going to cut that out. We're definitely going to add music here or turn the music up, turn it down. And that's the beauty of things like Twitch, of Facebook Live, of YouTube Live, you just show people what you got.
Right.
And then listen to what the audience says, and then adjust. So as we're sitting there, and I'm seeing the comments rolling in of people watching, and I'm amazed to see. Did you see what the view count was?
Yeah.
Was there a view count up?
Yeah.
Because it was coming in and out. There was a lot of people watching.
High, low, but it was
consistent.
It's not like it legit stayed the same. Like you maintained the audience was maintained.
Which
is
awesome.
You weren't losing. You weren't. It was. Yeah.
And we had, and that was, those were fans.
Yeah, the interaction.
Those were fans who came from TikTok. These are people that followed me on TikTok and on Instagram. And then all I said was, "Hey guys, we're having the show premiere over on Twitch," and they popped over to Twitch and they were sitting over there.
I was really interacting with a lot of people.
Crazy,
yeah, as you saw, I was in there, people cracking jokes. I was being a part of the jokes.
And a lot of people, and I know Christian has this, and I have this too, where we want the final product to be perfection.
Yes.
Right. We are perfectionists. So like, especially when it comes to a feature film, like yes, it has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It has to be perfect. But maybe the first time you show it, it doesn't have to be perfect. You got to get the audience's review, right? That's what they do with the Marvel films. They show them to the test screening, and then they make the final adjustment, and then they're released to the public, right? I think about what we just did last night is the same way. We ran this little Twitch premiere of our episode, and here's the concept of what we're doing, and it's the pilot. But we're definitely going to be making changes before we post it on YouTube and have a native home for it, before we post it on KOL.
You and me were going back and forth during the stream. I was saying, this is good, maybe change this, maybe
we're talking about, hey, I said we want to change music. He's giving me ideas of like other special effects we should add, other graphics we should add to it.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about social media is you've got the ability to do things like that. Now, it doesn't have to be the premiere of a show, but when you've got ideas, you need to share them, get positive or negative reinforcement from it, and then make adjustments and take action, right?
Absolutely.
It's the best thing.
So who do you think is your toughest critic out of all the years you've been marketing to? You ever have that one person who always looks out for you, but at the same time it's kind of like, David, please, you gotta do this better, you gotta do that better?
Me. No.
The first thing, I handle this very differently from a lot of people. I think I'm my biggest critic.
Yeah.
I am so, and it's probably why I have like stress problems, because I berate everything I do to the point of it's craziness, because I look for every flaw. I try to empathize with the lowest common denominator, the person who's not going to get it, the person who's, is interested, but like, I didn't get it. Like, and if I can't make that version of myself happy, we have a problem. Right.
Gotcha.
I don't like to be exposed with the work that I do to the point where other people can beat me to the punchline. I think the greatest example of this is somebody like Aaron Sorkin, a famous writer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who says something along the lines of, if the audience can beat you to the ending and figure out what's going to happen at the end, you did it wrong. And it's not good enough. It's not well enough written. It's not written well enough, right? Yeah. So you have to go back and fix things. And I look at problems that way. I look at the work that I do that way. Is if other people can point out the flaws before I can, it's not good enough.
Gotcha.
It's not good enough. So and to your instance of who's the biggest person in my life who calls me out on it, I mean, I have very specific people that I'll ask, hey, can you check this out? What do you think? I'll specifically, my critical friends, I'll say, hey, here's something I'm working on. Break it apart. Nothing is off limits. Just, I'm going to say, be fair. Like, don't be nasty for the sake of being nasty. But, like, if it's going to make me cry, I need to hear it from you before the public does it to me. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just...
This is the biggest piece of shit.
You know what? If that's it, then it is. And I need to know. But really, this is something I really advocate for. I've talked about it on a lot of podcasts that I did when I was in North Carolina, was there's a big difference between naysayers and haters.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people are afraid of haters. It's don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right.
You get a lot of hate on social media. You're haters. Right?
Haters gonna hate.
All right, Taylor Swift.
I love the haters. You know why I love the haters? They give you things to create content for.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Not only do they give you stuff to create content for, they give you the solutions to your problems.
Right.
For free.
There's a big difference between hating somebody, and I have a big philosophy on people that hate on other people. There's a difference between haters and naysayers. Naysayers are the people that are close to you that put you down.
Yeah.
Now, this is. I mean, it sucks for a lot of people who have, like, you have that idea, you have that inspiration, you have that thing you want to do, and maybe you don't do it. Maybe you give up doing it because somebody close to you, a friend, your mom, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, brother, sister, say, no, I don't think this is gonna work. Maybe you have the next Uber. Right? Maybe you have the next Netflix idea.
Right.
And it's going to take a lot of commitment. It's going to take a lot of gusto to make this happen. Probably a lot of money. Right? It's going to take a lot of money. And then when you have that person in your life who says, don't do that, give up on that, think real, think real world here. I've cut every one of them out of my life.
Gotcha.
Personally, like, I have cut every person that's ever been a naysayer to me, I have had to remove out of my life. Like, I don't have the time for it. And if you're listening, unfortunately, like, if you're surrounded by people that are toxic like that want to bring you down, and there is a difference between naysayers and people that really do genuinely care, like my friends who I ask, be critical of this, and tell me if I trust your opinion, right? And then there's the people that just say, nah, that's not going to work. Well, why is it not going to work? I mean, it's not going to work. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Our world doesn't think like that.
I'm expecting the Jimmy Fallon
right?
to come on right now. It's not going to work out.
Yeah.
I worked out.
Right? why are you doing that?
Because I can.
It's because you can.
Want to.
There's a lot of things like that, and unfortunately, I think the best reality check is you have to remove those people from your life. If they put you down consistently for the things that you aspire to do, you need to remove them from your life.
I'm going to give you a final question on this to wrap up.
Yes.
So promote anything that you want to promote now, and then summarize this interview in one hand.
Is there anything big you want to announce, or you want to wait until you announce it?
I'm good to announce. Yeah, we're doing.
This is probably going to come out after that announcement that we want to make. So you can make that announcement.
So officially on the record, this is going to be premiering in December.
The end of November.
This is end of November.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, so hello, people from the future.
Yes.
We just experienced Halloween when you're listening to this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still feeling spooky.
Spoopy.
Well, no, I'm feeling spooky because something that Chris and I have been working on for some time is I think very exciting.
Yes.
And while I've literally lived ambition for the last year.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, and boy, I've taken a bunch of beatings for it.
Just to build up to this one moment.
But I think this is the most ambitious project we've ever worked on ever.
Yes.
Well, as far as for me, I know you've done some amazing work in the past, but
Yes.
this is my most ambitious project ever. Is our first feature.
Yeah, first feature film.
It's our first feature film. And I'm gonna have to eat these words because we're officially announcing it on this
I
podcast.
mean, you're announcing it.
It is the future.
Yeah.
So hey, whoever's listening to this knows who the president is.
Right.
This is post-election.
We hope.
Yeah. This is the election is completed, and we would have surpassed Black Friday when we officially announced.
So the president is Joe Trump, right?
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Joe Trump.
A merging of
The merging.
Joe Biden and President Trump.
I don't know. The president's Joe Trump. Well, I'm just saving face. I'm saving both.
Dude, I wrote in Kanye, so whoever wins is not my fault.
I'm saying both names just to cover my ass in the future. So Joe Trump.
Are we sensing a character analysis of Joe Trump in this movie?
Oh,
is that the real announcement that we're doing?
It's big. We're announcing it. It's hopefully we're gonna do something next year if COVID tends to.
Well, regardless, we're moving into pre-production.
And
we're going to be formally announcing it at the end of November. We've been working on this for a long time, and we're going to start putting assets together and inviting people to be parts of it and really put together a. I don't want to say crowd-funded because I think it goes past that. A crowd-built feature film. Yeah. And Chris knows this, and I'm sure Jerry remembers our conversations years ago as well, where I've always been, budget's not the concern. How do we make something magical?
Yeah.
Right? Budget's not important. How do we make it happen without the budget? Right? How do we make the budget happen? Why does money have to be the biggest issue? We have to think in a surplus mentality, stop looking at a conservative mentality, not to overspend, but just solve this without money being the issue. And if money is the issue, then we resolve it.
Yeah, you always said to me, last time we talked, you said to me was, the reason why I was so stressed in all those projects is you kept thinking about the money and not about the art.
That's that's just it.
Yeah.
When you stress out about the money and you don't do what you actually love to do, you get very easily stressed out because it's not what your passion is.
Jerry knows. He's seen me.
Yes. So, but just a crowd-built film where we're going to be inviting fans to be a part of this in multiple different ways, both being in it and producing things for it, right? And I can't wait to build something magical
it's
here, man.
It's going to be great. So
I really can't wait.
In the future, in the year 3000.
And so we're going to be making a formal announcement on knightsoflight.io as well as tcmg.io, two tech websites that we're working on. You're going to be finding all that information there. So when you're seeing this, go check those out and check out any kind of video that we put out formally announcing it, because that's where you'll find it.
It'll be somewhere in the link description.
Somewhere in there. And we're not even going to give the name now because you got to go check it out to find the name.
No. It's just the untitled.
We've got the name.
We've had the name for what? Almost 2 years now?
Oh, I've had the name since like day one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you called me up like, this is the name. I'm like, I love it.
I immediately had the name. Yeah. Because it's fitting.
Yeah, it's great.
And so, Jerry, you asked for a hashtag to wrap this up.
Of this one interview.
I think of things like hashtag mindset. I think of hashtag things like, hashtag growth. But I think this is more of like a hashtag work.
Beautiful.
Right? I think this is a hashtag work because everything I've described is, or no, better, hashtag creativity. That's it.
There we go.
Cut the check.
There you go, Jerry.
Hashtag creativity, because in any problem you have
Hashtag
to.
change my mind.
Oh no! Oh no! No!
You know,
No, Jerry, too soon.
it's all fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All fun. All right, Jerry, let's wrap this up.
Alrighty, that was David Grace, everybody. Hope you enjoyed him.
Yes,
I'm sure Christian did.
I loved it.
Hated it.
So we'll be here. Like and subscribe. We're on YouTube and YouTube Land, Caputo Collective. We're on Anchor. Find us there. Actually, listen to us on Anchor. We actually get monetized on Anchor.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
Listen on Anchor.
We're gonna make sure Christian makes a TikTok for Christmas. 'Cause
Yes,
that's what
yes.
the people want.
And
TikTok's where it's at.
here you go. See ya.